Hello everyone, my name is Amanda and welcome back to another video of the Plenty Mandy. So welcome to the first video of my new series that I call Hoya of the Moments. So this is actually not my original idea, like full disclosures. I'm actually inspired by Doug Chamberlain, which is the really famous Hoya collectors from Vermont Hoyas, and also Summer Rain Oats, which is another really famous YouTubers that own a few hundreds houseplants. So Doug, he does these videos called like a visit to certain Hoya. So in those videos, he would go over like his experience with Hoyas. He would show us the flowers, and I think they're just so cool and so amazing that we can learn more about how like expert like that to take care of the Hoyas. And then Summer used to have a series called 365 Days of Plants, which she would go over each plant a day. Like every day she would go over a plant. I think that's just dedication right there. So she'll go over each plant, and then same thing, she'll talk about like the origin, the care, any tips for us. So I think those are really great videos or great ideas, like just so we can all learn more in-depth information for that particular plant. So because of that, I came up with this idea that's called Hoyas of the Moment. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over one species of Hoyas in my collection in each video. Couple reasons that I'm doing is, number one, like I said, I was really inspired by like those two like experts, plant expert. And the second reason is like I have been thinking about like my own collection. So I've been collecting Hoyas for like a few years now, not that long at all. In comparison to a lot of like expert. So I have been collecting Hoyas for a few years. And I noticed that my collection changed a lot. So I always say that I have a dynamic collection. Because I would, that's how it works. So I would get certain Hoyas, when I'm interested, and then I would try to grow them in my environment to see if this does well. I'll experiment with different things as well, right? So after I've done that, if the Hoyas like my environment and it's grow well, and I like the Hoya, that particular Hoya, I would keep it. And on the other hand, if it doesn't go well, or if I just, I'm just don't really care for the Hoyas, I may sell them, swap them, or I would trade them. So that's basically how my collection, goes, and that's why it's constantly changing. So I would say right now, currently, at this particular moment, I have about like 100 species of Hoyas, more or less. But I think in the past few years, I have grown probably close to 200 species of Hoyas. And like I said, I trade them, swap them, or sell them, if it didn't work out for me, if I just, don't care for the Hoya, because I have very, very limited space. For those of you guys who've watched, my video for the first time, I live in a 560 square feet apartment in San Francisco. So I really don't have a lot of room. So I have to really like control or manage the numbers of Hoyas I have. So I've been thinking about like, how my collection is constantly changing. And I was like, oh, I wish I would have filmed a video about that Hoya that I no longer have, at the time. So I think that's why I think it'll be a great idea for me to, just start doing that with the Hoyas that I have. So that way, at least I have a record, and then, you guys can, maybe share with me your experience with that particular Hoyas. So I think that would be a really fun thing to do. And not to mention that, if we go over like one species of Hoya in one video, that way we can go into more the origins, when was it described, any specific care tips, because even though there's a general, care guide for Hoyas because they're from the same genus, obviously, if you guys have been collecting Hoya for a while, know that certain Hoya just like a specific environment better. So by going into just one particular Hoya at a time, we can actually go deeper into a specific care tips for the specific Hoyas. So yeah, so that's some of the reasons why I want to try out this new series. So yeah, so let me know. I'm just testing it out. So let me know what you guys think, if you guys like it, if you guys hate it. Just make sure that you leave in a comment below. All right, so let's get started. So I decided that the first Hoyas I want to feature in this new series is, ta-da! So this is my Hoya tomataensis. Obviously I chose it because it's flowering though. And yeah, so the flower just opened up actually last night, I noticed. Sometimes I missed out on the flowers. But anyway, yeah, so Hoya tomataensis was first published in Fraterna in June 2004 by Dale Koppenberg and Ted Green. So they are two of the most famous Hoya collectors. And I think, they would go on a trip together to collect Hoyas and, just go on an adventure, which is really cool. So yeah, so I think this Hoya, it's originated in Sulawesi, which is an island in the east of Borneo. So which is where a lot of Hoyas is found actually. So yeah, so Hoya tomataensis, if you look at the foliage, when I first got it, it was when I first got it, the first thing that captured me is it's curl leaves. I thought it was dry or something, but it's not. It's just how the leaf shaped is. And then you can also see it have some vinglings on it, and it does get sun stress. So you can see this guy is really sun stressed. And yeah, and then again, I chose it because you can see the flower. So it have this let me get it focused. My hand is so shaky. So you can see it have this more Fisher pink corona, which is the center of the flowers, and then the corolla, which is the quote unquote petals, is lighter pink. So yeah, so it's really beautiful plants. So the story, and then you can also see other than that one, you can also see the peduncles. It's actually budding up. This guy have so many peduncles, and then you can see the tiny pink bud. It's actually forming at the tip, so I'm really happy about it. So the story of this guy. So I got this as a bonus gift from Teresa, who is a seller that I adore on Etsy. So she run this shop called DJ2 Homegrown, and then I got a lot of my Hoyas from her the past few years. So yeah, so she sent maybe I would say 3 leaves, 4 leaves, couple notes, cuttings of this particular Hoya tomataensis to me with the purchase of something else. So I rooted it, and pretty easily actually, and then it start to just grow, and then it has to be at least a year or so ago that I got that. But yeah, so as of today, it's flowered. So I think it's just a really amazing thing that, you got to plant some unrooted cutting, and then you rooted them, and then it's grown, and then it's flower for you. I think that's just a really amazing journey. It just brings you so much joy, and then you learn so much, within, the journey of you, how to care for the plants, right? So, funny story for this one too is at least a few months ago, maybe back in February or January of 2021, Hoya tomataensis was also getting ready to flower. So, the bud is already coming out. There's multiple peduncle is producing flowers, and it's actually growing. And then I had a construction in my house. So because of that, I have to turn off a lot of my grow lights. So it wasn't a big construction. So, I had to do that for about 3 days. So my plant wasn't getting like this guy, wasn't getting like the consistent like, light that it was getting. And guess what? All the buds dropped, every single one of them. So if you count, there may be, I don't know, like 20 flowers like in each like balls of buds. It's all dropped. So I lost about 100 flowers, I would say, in that incident. And it was very upsetting. But guess what? After that, it start to like, like I show you all the peduncles, it start to like bud up again recently. Yeah, and this guy literally just like, flower for me last night. So I'm very grateful how resilient this girl is. So yeah, so that's the story of this Hoya tomataensis in my hand right now. For care tips, right? Bright light for sure. So this guy is sitting under my grow lights, maybe like 1.5 feet under my grow lights, a full spectrum LED light. I water it approximately once every 7 to 10 days, just like, many, other of my Hoyas. And humidity, it is in my ambient humidity. Like I do not use humidifier because I have PTSD from fungal infection, so I don't use humidifier. But I do live by the beach, so my ambient humidity is about 50 to 60%, and then she's perfectly happy. It's because it have pretty succulent leaves too, so I don't think it's lit like a lot of humidity like the thin leaf species. And then medium wise, so this guy is in a you can see like just like my regular bark medium. So it's like bark, a lot of bark, perlite, some cactus soil, a little bit of charcoal. So yeah, so that's the medium I keep it in. If you guys are interested, I did film a Hoya medium video a while ago, so you can go check that out. But yeah, so just barky medium. Fertilizing wise, for growing seasons, which is spring, summer, and a little bit of fall in the Northern Hemisphere, which is where I locate, I would fertilize this guy with a 2-2-2, like a more balanced, organic, like gentle fertilizer. But when I see that, this baby is started to bud or start to like, trying to produce flowers, I would fertilize it with something with a higher phosphate, like, the NPK, like the P in the middle. You may want to like up the phosphate level, so that way, it will support, flower growth, because that's what phosphates do. One of the 3 macronutrients, for your plants. And I have never knocked on wood. I have never ever have, any pest problem with this particular Hoyas. And given that, full disclosure, given that I do use systemic pest control every 8 to 10 weeks, or maybe 12 weeks, as a precautionary measure to prevent like mealybugs or anything like that. So yeah, so I do that, and yeah, it's perfectly happy. It doesn't require like woody specific like growing environment, and it just, as you can see, it's like pretty resilient. It just I kill all the flowers, and the flowers just keep the buds and the peduncles just keep coming back. So I'm really grateful for this. So yeah, so this is the star of the show today, Hoya tomataensis. If you like pink flower, you should get this one. And if you like light stress leaf, you should get this one as well. So yep, I love this plant. Especially like I grown it from like unrooted tiny cuttings. I always like that. Yay. Okay, so that is the first Hoya of the Moment video featuring Hoya tomataensis. So yeah, so this is the format that I think I'm gonna, do the Hoya of the Moment series, like, ongoing wise. So let me know what you guys think. If you have any suggestion, I'm like, really grateful to hear them so I can do better. And as always, if you like this video, make sure you click like. If you want more future video, make sure you click subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.